Hey everybody, it's Julie. Happy holidays. I thought I'd pop in here quick and share a video tutorial on how I did the Hugs trifold card, which is kind of an interlocking or like a double buckle style card. I know this kind of sounds weird, but I've always called this type of card a buckle card. So it's kind of a double buckle. And you'll see what I mean as I'm working along here. So I took my 5.5 by 11 inch cardstock and I'm going to rotate it and do some score lines at 3 5/8 inches from each of the short ends. I find I get better results when I just flip the paper around and score from each short end than trying to, 3 in this and then 5 in this, whatever. So anyway, now that I've got that done, I'm going to take these larger hands from the hands die set and line them up so that the open ends are a little bit of an angle, but they're also jutting out about, I want to say about 1/8 of an inch, between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch from those score lines that I made. So it's kind of hard to see on camera where they are, but you'll see why they're there as I progress with the card. So I had to run this through my Gemini Junior twice because it's hanging off the end. The platform isn't big enough for this long of a card. So you just reposition it, slide it down, put it back through. So I ran it through twice. If you had a Big Shot Plus, you could run it through just once and be done. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the dies, and then I'm going to flip my card over to the inside and very carefully start folding the side flaps in towards the center, and this is going to become the front of the card. And I'm using my Teflon bone folder to go ahead and crease those lines because Neenah 110 Solar White does not always play nicely. Thicker cardstock does not always play nice when you're trying to crease it and fold it crisply. So I'm just being gentle and careful as I work. The video is actually sped up about 200% because watching me in real time is kind of like watching molasses on a frozen pipe, I swear. So now you can see how those tuck into each other or buckle into each other, so to speak. And I'm just going to kind of temporarily close the card up here to fit it onto the Misty platform. And I'm going to grab this larger solid heart from the Mondo Squishy Hug set and ink up with some Sauna ink. And I've got that flap on the right-hand side folded in. And this is just to give me an idea of where things are going to appear on the front of the card. So I've got the saying here, it's "I got you," and I'm going to load that onto the lid of the Misty as well and ink up with some VersaFine Nocturne. This is a nice, faster drying black pigment ink. Now that I've got that impressed, I'm actually going to tuck and fold everything or buckle it together there on the front because I want to stamp a little bit more, add just a little bit more interest there, and just anchor that down with the magnets, and then grab the little tiny hearts in the set, and I'm also going to ink those up with the same inks I used before, Sauna and Coral. These are Catherine Pooler water-based dye inks. I really love working with these inks. I think I've said that before, but I'll say it again. When I love an ink, I love an ink. So now I'm going to open this back up and grab that same heart. I did clean it off. I always clean off my stamps before I change ink colors. And now that it's all clean, I'm going to load that onto the Misty because I want to do some shading. And I'm going to ink up with the Sauna ink. And it looks like I had a fuzz on my ink pad that transferred to my impression. So I just re-inked and stamped over the top of it. You got to do what you got to do, right? So it kind of cleared that up and you don't even notice that there was a little blemish there. So now I'm going to ink up with the Coral again, and I'm going to dab off some of the ink on the left-hand side of that stamp using a damp baby wipe. And then when I impress it over the top, and I'm going to repeat this process a couple of times, but it's going to give me a really cool multi-shaded or multicolor ombre style effect here on this solid image. It looks like I had a little bit of ink there on the lid, so I just quickly wiped that off. Yep. So now I'm going to grab the smaller stamps that have little tiny hearts, and of course I cleaned it off already, and I wanted to stamp that over the top. Now originally in my plan I was just going to stamp one of the hearts, so I'm sitting here very carefully cleaning this off, la 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 la, and I didn't quite get it dry enough, and you can't see it on camera, but there was some pale ink that still transferred, so then I just re-inked it and stamped it again. So it looks like I meant to do this, right? And then I decided to go ahead and Stamp the hearts again over there on the left-hand side using second generation impression. I stamped off onto some scratch paper so I could get a softer color there. It just adds more dimension instead of just plain flat ink color. And then I grabbed a saying that says, "You are here," and it's pointing there inside the heart. And I think that's such a sweet thing because really the people I love so much and care about, I do carry them in my heart. And I thought this would be a great card for anybody who's maybe struggling and just needs some words of encouragement, needs to know that you're there for them. And one last bit of embellishment, well, this isn't the last bit. I wanted to add just a little bit more pattern, just a little pop of black and white here. So this washi tape was too wide. I love this washi tape. It's one of my most favorite washi tapes. I use it all the time, but I needed it skinnier. So I just stretched it out onto a cutting mat there and use a straight edge and a craft knife to trim it down into a little skinny strip. Put some there, and then I put some on the inside of the card, and I kind of futz around with things, you know, kind of deciding how much do I want, how long do I want it. So I spared you the futzing, so you saw the end result. And now I'm going to finish off the card with one last embellishment. I'm using the Nouveau drops. These are the ebony black, glossy black, and I just put 2 there, and then I'm going to slap that against my table surface just once or twice until they flatten out more like enamel dots instead of like beads. And that's it. The card's done. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.